is up, everybody? What is going on? Just talking a little Steelers here. Talking a little Steelers football. Oh my God, everybody seems to be texting me at the same time. Stop it. Stop it. I don't see. There we go. What's going on, everybody? What is up? What is up? So, keep Fields. Here's the thing, like, how far away are the Steelers right now from actually contending? That's my thing. Like, how far away are we from really competing? You watch these playoff games. I mean, even last week, let's just leave last week out of it. I mean, I know we got blown out, but let's leave last week out of it. Look at this week, the final 8 teams. Like, how far away are we from really competing in this setting? You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at those games, the ones from yesterday, and how far? So, like, the main thing that I saw the difference is look at Houston. Look where Houston is, and look how bad Houston's offensive line was. Yet they were in that football game basically till the end, and they got hosed with some garbage calls. I mean, we all know that. So they got hosed with that. But look how bad their offensive line was. But they were still in the football game. Why? Because they have a quarterback. So they got a quarterback. They got a quarterback. They got some weapons. So they're able to move the football and compete in that football game. So I just don't think we're that close. Although we made the playoffs, I don't think we're that. I mean, because you can compete. Like somebody says, well, we're not close until Mahomes retires. That doesn't mean you can't compete with Mahomes. We just saw C.J. Stroud compete with Mahomes yesterday. So I don't know what on hood means. I need some translation. It says y'all stink on hood. I don't know what that means. I need translation. I'm an adult, so I don't know what that means. But yeah, that's the difference. Is that you can compete. I just don't think the Steelers are, until the Steelers get this quarterback thing figured out, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. That's the difference. That is the difference. Is that until we can get it figured out, I just don't think that we're going to be able to make this work. So the Bengals are in a better position because they have a QB. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. That doesn't mean that we can't beat the Bengals. I mean, we did this year. That doesn't mean that. But at least they're in a better position. And I'm not saying you have to have a top 5 quarterback. Like, you don't have to have a top 5 quarterback to compete. But you just have to have somebody that's competent. But you don't have to have the best quarterback in the league. I mean, I'm not saying that. So that's all I'm saying. Is that you gotta, until you get something, some competent quarterback play. Some competent quarterback play. But we'll find out. We'll find out. So we will find out. Yeah, the Steelers, we just got to figure all that out. I see there's a bunch of people from TikTok that have come over here. You can't get on TikTok, so you've decided to bring your TikTok ways over to YouTube. How about we get a real offense, a real O-line coach? I'm with you. I'm with you. PDG 90, that was a BS report. The Bears didn't offer the Steelers 3 first-round picks for Mike Tomlin. They didn't do that. That's just an internet lie. It's an absolute internet lie. But if they had, would have taken it immediately. Would have taken it immediately. So. No coaching changing yet. I would relax on that. I would relax on it. They don't have to make all these coaching changes immediately. Like, we don't have to do all the coaching changes right now. I mean, what difference does it make whether they fire the O-line coach today, tomorrow, or in 2 weeks, or in 3 weeks? Like, does that matter? Like, free agency isn't here. So, granted, you want the people in so they can help evaluate and that stuff, but I wouldn't get too bent out of shape about firing a coach now. I wouldn't get too bent out of shape about it. Looking at the offenses yesterday, says my man Byron Nelson, the Steelers are far away from being contenders. Yeah, man, we got a ways to go. Or is it that the Steelers just got to get a competent quarterback? Is it that? Because I think it might just actually be that the Steelers got to get some competent quarterback play. That's what I need. Just get that coincided with some decent offensive line, and we can go from there. Yeah, that's right. We need more than coaching changes. We need personnel changes. We need changes. That's all. We just need changes. Look, the Steelers were built to be able to win football games 17-14. And when you can't do that any longer because your defense isn't good enough, well, then we saw what it looked like the last 5 weeks of the season. When your defense basically fails and they can't hold teams to 17 or 14 points, you got to be able to compete. The Steelers were never able to do that this year. The offense initially was better with Wilson than Fields, but once teams figured out, okay, Russell Wilson isn't going to throw the ball down the middle of the field, we can stack the box and stop them from running the football, then what are they going to do? And the Steelers had no response. The Steelers had no response. So that's the difference. We're a competent QB away and a healthy offensive line. I feel like the Steelers' offensive line would have been better this year if James Daniels and Faetanu were healthy. If those guys are healthy, I think the Steelers' offensive line would have been better. I think they actually fixed it, or for the most part. But you couldn't do that when those two guys went out. Arthur Smith's offense is light years behind the two offenses last night. Yeah. I mean, there ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Light years behind. Not even in the same stratosphere. I mean, it's embarrassing what our offense looked like compared to what the Commanders and the Lions offense looked like. So, I mean, yeah, I'd like to see more Beanie Bishop on the field, but Beanie Bishop wasn't going to make a difference for the Steelers. Bentley, we get it, brother. Enough. Go Ravens. I hear you, Joe Block. We hear you. Who's at fault for hiring Smith? Mike Tomlin. So Mike Tomlin is responsible for hiring Arthur Smith. So, yeah, I don't think Arthur Smith could do what he wanted to do either, Bernard. I think Arthur Smith had specific plans and what he wanted to do. And when they talked about him and Russ butting heads, I think that's where they butted heads, is that Russ just wouldn't do that. And Arthur's like, look, man, this is how the offense can thrive and works. This is how my offense works. And Russ is like, yeah, I get that, but that's not my strength. So buy Cam Sutton and buy Patrick Queen. Okay. I mean, Patrick Queen's got to go. He's got to go. Well, Mike Tomlin's not changing the coordinator. First off, I've told y'all before, we got to get off of the Mike Tomlin's got to go. Mike Tomlin's going to be the head coach next year. That isn't going to change. So we got to get past Tomlin's got to go. He isn't. He's not going anywhere. So it doesn't matter if he doesn't make one single change. Mike Tomlin's going to be the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers next year. So we got to get past he's got to go if he doesn't do this. It doesn't matter if he doesn't do anything. He's not going anywhere. Now, does he need to make the changes? Yes. But the next thought can't be, well, if he doesn't do it, he's got to go. Well, okay, great. But that doesn't mean he's going to go. That's all I'm saying. Arthur Smith's got to be more creative. Yes, he does. TJ Watt was MIA the last 4 games. Yeah, he was. He was hurt. But you're right. Kirby Harrison, I apologize, said it. B, I'm doing some film study on Jackson Dart of Ole Miss. You like him? He's okay. He's okay. He's okay. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not convinced just yet, but we'll see. Steelers didn't want to give up a 4th-round pick for Fields. I mean, there's probably some validity to that. There's some validity to that. Not watching a single Steelers game next season. Already know how the movie plays out. I will 1,000,000% guess, Mark, that you are going to watch a Steelers game next year. Either that or you're not a fan. So the Steelers are not going to get the Lions offensive coordinator. So that wide receiver screen Washington ran yesterday was beautiful. It was insane. Or the Lions, they did a pitch shovel pass where they pitched it out to Gibbs and he did a shovel pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, it's that kind of creativity that the Steelers haven't seen in ever. Or at least since Bruce Arians was around. I appreciate it, Rebel. We try to be honest here, man. That's what we do. We're not getting rid of Patrick when he was our leading tackler. Who cares if Patrick Queen was the leading tackler? How did that work out? He had 15 tackles against the Ravens. How did that work? How did that look? They ran for 300 yards, and that's how many tackles he had. And Patrick Queen wasn't a difference maker. Not at all. Not at all. Doesn't matter that the offense couldn't do anything. That's not what we're talking about. Why are we trying to blame the offense for Patrick Queen not being in the right gap? What did the offense have to do with that? Nothing. So, yeah, I'm not going to say the Steelers were in rebuild mode. Defense wasn't out there 99% of the time. Got to stop with the crazy talk, man. Yeah, Queen was out there making business decisions. Oh, but he was also sick, remember? That wasn't that the thing? He was sick? Yeah. Not trying to hear it. We need a wide receiver, defensive coordinator, and a quarterback. Yep. The Steelers need a lot. It's not, the Steelers need a lot. That's why I don't think they're a quarterback away. But you got to have a quarterback. I mean, you can't not have a quarterback and want to consider yourself serious. Yeah, the Steelers need a quarterback. The Steelers need a quarterback. So, got to have that. And then you got to have an offensive line. So, got to have an offensive line. And we'll see. Maybe if Faetanu comes back and he's healthy and they sign James Daniels to a one-year prove-it deal, put him back in the lineup, maybe the Steelers will look better. We'll see who plays left tackle. I'm not sure that I trust Broderick Jones to play left tackle after the way he played right tackle this year. And it ain't just easy to say, oh, well, he's a left tackle and he'll just move over to left tackle from right and all of a sudden he's fixed and he'll be fine. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So, we'll see. Yeah, I didn't just look. I think Justin Fields got a raw deal in Chicago. I do. But he hadn't done anything that says, yeah, he's got to be the Steelers quarterback of the future. I mean, he hasn't done anything to say that. And maybe he will be. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, and I'll be fine if he does. I'm just saying, unless the Steelers have a quarterback, they're not going to do anything. And you can't just say, well, we have Fields. No. Fields hasn't proven that he is the Steelers quarterback. I'm not saying that he won't be, but he hasn't proven that. Yeah, and that's the thing about the line. Sign Daniels to a one-year prove-it deal, and then get Faetanu. If those guys are back, I feel like our line would look better. So Fields got a chance to play in Chicago, but I don't feel like Chicago was a real opportunity. They didn't even try to help him. But what he was doing in Pittsburgh wasn't great. I mean, it was okay before they replaced him. I mean, if you're being honest, I mean, what Fields was doing was okay. That wasn't good football. That wasn't, oh, man, we got to keep playing Justin Fields. Hey, that wasn't the case. So, Queen is better next to an elite linebacker. You say that out loud. You're damn right he is. People think that Fields is Lamar Jackson, and he's not. You're right, Kirby. He's not. So. Justin has never been coached at all. I believe that too. I believe that he was actually getting the coaching at Pittsburgh because I think Arthur Smith liked him. I think Arthur Smith does like Justin Fields. I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe because when Mike Tomlin said that he went at it alone with making the change, I think Arthur Smith said, no, we got to stay with Justin, and Mike Tomlin overrode him. I believe that. So, I'm too old to be in it nose, man. I'm too old. I'm too old. I am not from Pittsburgh, no. I mean, look, should the Steelers tank next year? For what? Like, what are we tanking for? And no, we hadn't covered it, but yeah, if we tank, what are we tanking for? So, yeah, Donnie, I don't dislike that. I don't dislike those two, round one and round two. I don't dislike that. I don't dislike it. I don't dislike it. So, Arch Manning's not coming out of the draft next year, people. I'm sorry. The Mannings don't play 1 year of college football, 1 year of starting college football and going to the draft. And next year he's going to be what? Either a junior or a sophomore or something. He ain't coming out in 2026. That's not happening. I'll tell you that right now. So, what's going on, Mr. Capricorn Steel? There was a reason that Sean Payton got rid of him. Yeah, there was. Yeah, there was. But yeah, that's what I think as far as the Steelers, man. We got to get, I mean, what do they look like compared to those teams yesterday? What do we look like compared to the remaining playoff teams? Because it's bad, again, I'll say this again. As bad as the Texans' offensive line was yesterday, and it was atrocious. It was atrocious. Just terrible. They were still in the game because they have a quarterback. They were still in the game because they have a quarterback. So that's what the Steelers just don't have at this point in time. We just don't have somebody that, even when the line is bad, that, okay, you know what? We can line up and throw that football and get it to where it needs to go. So I'm not sure that the offense is not gonna be any better. It just depends. I mean, they got to make some changes. Obviously, they got to make changes. So, but I wouldn't just say no matter what, the offense isn't going to be better. I think that's premature. But they do got to make changes. And it does matter what QB we have with a crappy O-line. It does matter. It absolutely matters. So, I think we'll trade Pickens. I think we'll trade Pickens. The defense paid far less in Houston and played much better. I would say there's lots of teams that were paid, not just Houston, but lots of teams paid their defense a lot less than Pittsburgh and played better. There's a ton of those teams out there. We beat two of the teams earlier in the season. The real question is, where did it go wrong? It's a great question, man. I think teams figured out what Pittsburgh was trying to do on offense and on defense. They figured it out, and we are so vanilla that if you don't make changes, those teams get paid. Those coaches get paid to watch film too, man. I like Pat Freiermuth. I don't think he got used enough, but I like him. So, nah, Mr. Capricorn Steel, we're not going to sign T. Higgins. So, I wish there was a way that I could mute somebody in here, but I don't think there is. Let's do that. Whew. There we go. I can. In Cincinnati. Doo-doo. Bring Devontae Adams. No. Here's the thing. It's not that I wouldn't take Devontae Adams. It's like, who's the quarterback? That's what we have to remember. Guys aren't just going to be running down the street to come to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay? It's not like, oh man, let's just go play for that offense. No. You got to have the quarterback first. We got to have the quarterback first. So, my dog is sleeping. Yeah, she's not going to wake up, people. She's not going to wake up. She's not going to wake up. She's not going to wake up. No matter what I do, she's not going to wake up. So, who should we target in free agency? I mean, I think there's some lower tier wide receivers that we should target in free agency. I think we need to go look at mid-tier defensive linemen because the Steelers got to get younger at defensive line. I mean, Larry O ain't coming back. Montravius Adams we shouldn't bring back. Dean Lowry, Loudermilk, sorry. None of those guys should be back on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not one of them. So that's where we need to go. We're also going to look in the draft there. But the number one place that I think the Steelers should look in free agency is offensive guard. Offensive guard. I know people are going to say, oh, you're crazy. Build the offensive guard up. You can't go get tackles in free agency because the good ones, teams don't let those guys go. But you can find guards because you can go overpay for a really good guard. Steelers need to do that. Steelers need to do that. Steelers should not draft a quarterback in the first round this year. Where they're picking, it's not going to make a difference. There's no difference maker. We did that already. Remember with Kenny Pickett? When there wasn't a guy that we should have picked at 20, instead we picked Baby Hands Pickett. So, Steelers let Dotson go. Yes, they did. We need a nose tackle. Yes, we do. Keanu Benton is not a nose tackle. In a 3-4 defense, Keanu Benton is technically a defensive end /5 technique. They have him playing nose tackle out of position. If you moved him, he would be so much more effective. So much more effective. Yeah, there ain't any QBs worth getting this offseason. Probably not. Probably not. So, happy with Isaac Siamala? Yeah, I'm fine with Isaac. But there's another guard position too. So, my dog is knocked out. She ain't waking up. I've tapped her. I hit her. Hey, English Bulldog, what are you going to do? And not only is she knocked out, she is literally right next to me. Head under the blanket. So, it is what it is. We letting James Daniels walk? I think that'd be a mistake. Now, he's an unrestricted free agent, so we don't have a whole lot of choice if he chooses to leave. So, but I think they planned on moving on from him. Then he got hurt. And then it's like, well, nobody's going to go out of their way to pay James Daniels this big contract. At least I don't think so. So, I think we could get James Daniels on a cheap 1-year prove-it deal. That's what I think. Robert Spillane should be brought back. I mean, maybe. I don't know. They're not trading Tomlin to Chicago, no. Will Howard's not a third round draft pick. I wouldn't take Will Howard in the third round. I think he's a capable backup in this league, but Will Howard's not a starter in the National Football League. And that's saying something because the quarterback play, once you get past like 12 to 15, the quarterback play in the National Football League is average at best. Average at best. I mean, would you all agree? I mean, once you get to like number 12 through 15, and once you get to 15, the quarterbacks are basically interchangeable at that point. I'm Big B, money bags, but no, you're right. I think we got to keep Fields too. I think we got to keep Fields as well, man. Where can we get a 350-pound nose tackle? In the draft. It's all good. Yeah, we can get somebody in the draft. Steelers got to get, I think the Steelers got to take 2 defensive linemen in the draft. We got to get younger at D-line. We got to get younger. Got to get younger. So we just have to. Robert, come on, bro. Dude, Jackson Dart is the only real QB with real potential to be something special where the Steelers would be in the position to draft him. But why would we take Jackson Dart? For instance, is Jackson Dart going to be any good next year? Like, I don't think the Steelers are that. Unless you're just saying, okay, let's take Jackson Dart. Let's start him now. And let's just completely rebuild the entire thing. Because otherwise, Jackson Dart isn't helping the Steelers win a bunch of games next year. You need defensive line help. You need wide receiver help. You need O-line help, cornerback help. I just don't think you can risk taking a quarterback this early if you're trying to win. Now, if you're not trying to win and you just want to rebuild the whole thing, then okay, in my opinion. So... the Ravens made Lamar good. They invested in and designed their offense around him. Yeah, they did. But the Ravens were already good. Because if you remember, the Ravens traded back into the first round and took him 32nd. So, and I'm not sure that we should be comparing Jackson Dart to Lamar Jackson. And I'm not saying you're comparing their talents, but comparing what Lamar brought to Baltimore. I don't think that's fair. So, and you're right, Ricky J. We need a quarterback. We definitely need one. I mean, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. We got to have an offensive line. We got to have a quarterback, and we got to have an offensive line. So, John Rice says the O-line will be fine next year. What part? Will the Rooneys ever agree to rebuild? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, have you all seen that they've been willing to rebuild? I haven't. Who do y'all think's winning today, man? You think Baltimore or Buffalo? Baltimore or Buffalo? So, and John, what makes you think that Broderick is just going to be so good at left tackle? Like, what have you seen that says, you know what? He'll be a great left tackle. Or even a good left tackle. What have you seen that says that? And my man says it right there. I think it's Crackle 1. It don't matter who is QB. What I've saw in the wild card was the team quit on Tomlin. Yes. I'm not going to say Russell played great. That ain't true. But the team did quit on him. Buffalo and the Rams, says Byron. Buffalo. Here's my dilemma. And y'all follow me on this. This is my dilemma. I can't stand Baltimore. Can't stand the Ravens. But y'all know I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm a diehard Louisville fan. Diehard Louisville fan. Lamar Jackson went to Louisville. I like Lamar Jackson, but I can't stand Baltimore. So I want Lamar Jackson to play well, but I want Baltimore to lose. But the thing is, if Lamar Jackson plays well, they're probably not going to lose. So, like, oh my God. It's crazy. Mm-mm-mm. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. John Rye, you're saying that Broderick Jones is going to be a Pro Bowler in his actual spot? Kendrick Green, you do realize is third string, right? So no, he's not a starter. He played good for about 4 games with Houston last year. And now he stinks. Dotson's good. But again, what my question was, what did you see from Broderick that told you that he's going to be a good left tackle? Don't tell me what Kevin Dotson did. Tell me what you saw from Broderick. Because the answer to that question is nothing. Hopefully Buffalo wins 56-49. There you go, Land. I'm with you. Yeah, we haven't seen anything from Broderick that just says, you know what? He was terrible. He gave up the second most sacks of any tackle in football, only behind Dan Moore Jr. So we're just, hey, he's fixed if we just move him to the left side. He'll be just fine. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe it at all. I don't believe it at all. And if that was the case, then the Steelers should just say, they should have said, Dan Moore, you stink. We're going to move Broderick over to left tackle because he's better than you. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. And again, I can be wrong. You can prove me wrong. I'm fine being wrong. Y'all know me. I'll admit when I'm wrong. And I hope Broderick proves me wrong. I'm not saying he can't be a good left tackle. All I'm saying is we've seen nothing that says that he's going to be one. We have seen nothing that says that. That just moving him to the left side fixes everything. We haven't seen anything like that. So that's all I'm getting at. I would love to be wrong about him. Would love it. Somebody barking. All right, people. I got to run. Appreciate you all. We'll be back. We're going to be doing some stuff. I think Big G's show or the Big Show is coming on tomorrow. So if you guys aren't in, make sure you like, follow, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, we also got the memberships. That's also available. So make sure you guys get with the members. Lots of different tiers there that you guys can join. Got a lot of content going up, man. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for showing up. We will talk to you soon. But yeah, big show's coming on tomorrow because I got something I have to do on Tuesday. So it'll be up tomorrow. Appreciate y'all, man.